Dear Lord, have mercy on me. Holy cow. That's not even all of them. I'm gonna go crazy. Okay, now we can begin. Hello everybody, my name is Miranda. Welcome to my universe. So what happened was I got my wisdom teeth taken out about 5-6 days ago. And what that made me do is do a lot of thrifting because I was healing and I rested the first 2 days and then I got really restless and wanted to get out of the house. And so that ended up being me and my mother going to a bunch of thrift stores, and I obtained quite a lot of books. So if you saw my thumbnail and got concerned and thought, Miranda, where are you getting this money? I'm not getting this money. I simply am thrifting, and I know where to look for books that are really cheap. So some of these I did buy brand new, but for the most part, a lot of these books were under $5 each. So some of them were even $1, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny that I have a ton of free time and I just decided to read and buy more books this entire week. I have 30 books to show you today. So I believe that this is one of my biggest book hauls I've ever filmed. So let's get started, shall we? Let's start with young adult because I feel like that's a pretty popular genre. A very safe genre to start with. I randomly, and I'm not late to the hype, okay? I read these when they were very popular. I got Divergent, this first one being the new paperback edition. This is the 10th anniversary edition to be specific. Then I found the second one in a collector's edition. I didn't even know this was a thing. I bought this to try to resell it. So we'll see where that ends up. Let's do Rick Riordan next. I have 3 by him. I got the first book in the Kane Chronicles. I've never read this. Comment down below if you think I should keep reading Rick Riordan, because I read Percy Jackson and then I read Heroes of Olympus, but then I stopped there. It felt like a very natural stop, like I didn't need to keep reading him. So I don't know if I will read these. But who knows, maybe I'll be in a Rick Riordan kick. Maybe I'll be like, yo, I want to pick up my boy Rick. We'll see. But I also got the first 2 books in the Trials of Apollo. So we got The Hidden Oracle and The Dark Prophecy. I've heard on and off reviews about these books, so once again, please let me know if you've read them and if they are worth reading. Next up, I got 2 books in the Shatter Me series. I got the first book. I got this one for full price, but then I thrifted Restore Me, and I know that this is the 4th book in the series, so at some point or other, I gotta end up with the 2nd or 3rd, or I'll read them as ebooks. Who knows? I'm currently on a book buying ban. I'm not allowing myself to buy books for this entire rest of the summer. We'll see if I hold on to that. But anyways, right now I'm reading Lord of the Rings. That's my big fantasy read. Next, after Lord of the Rings, I'm reading The Dark Tower by Stephen King, because I have promised quite a few people that I will read it next. So I need to read The Gunslinger and the rest of the series if I end up liking it. That has been on my TBR for quite some time now, so I need to get that one out of the way ASAP. But then after that, I'm juggling between reading Shatter Me or Throne of Glass, because I haven't read either of them. I've read the first 3 books in Throne of Glass, and I just never picked up the 4th book, and I just straight up have never read Shatter Me. Maybe I'll put up a poll one day and let you guys vote on which series I should read. We have Holly Black's newest book, The Stolen Heir. I'm very excited about this one. Also, that is freaking cool. This book is set in the same universe that the Cruel Prince series is set in. If this is anything, even just a little bit like the Cruel Prince, I think I will be very happy. Next up, we have A Song of Silver Flame Like Night. This is a fairly new book. It was published within the last month, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it is a young adult fantasy and I am obsessed with the cover, and I'm kind of in a dragon phase right now. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. Then we have Alexandra Bracken's newest book. A lot of new books here also. Silver in the Bone. I'm very excited about this. I have not heard too much about it though. I love Alexandra Bracken. The Darkest Minds series is one of my favorite young adult series. All right, this was a pretty cool thrift find. I found Children of Blood and Bone, the Burner edition. I don't know what that means. Obviously, haven't read the book, but I thought that was pretty cool. pretty good find. All right, these next books are general fantasy. I don't know if they're young adult or adult because obviously I haven't read them. Some of these I know for sure are adult fantasy, but others I'm a little bit iffy on. So we're just gonna stick with fantasy. All right, let's start off with a bang. I got the Silmarillion by Tolkien. I am a little intimidated to read this. Don't know if I'm going to read it right after Lord of the Rings or if I'm gonna wait a little bit until I feel like I want to read it, because this is basically the lore behind Lord of the Rings. I've heard it's a very dense read. I've also heard mixed opinions on whether I need to read it or not. I've heard a lot of people highly recommend this book, and then a lot of other people say that I do not need to read it and it's not a necessity. I want to read it personally. I just don't know if I'm in the right headspace too, because I don't know how to pronounce half of these words. Hithlum, Morgoth, Gondolin, Thorondor, Chrysaegrim. Yeah, this would be a fun adventure. I also got a Nora Roberts book. This is the first book in Chronicles of the One, Year 1. I know nothing about this series, but I have heard a little bit about Nora Roberts, and I figured, you know, why not just pick it up? It was $2, you know? All right, the next two books I got full price because they are pretty popular at the moment, or at least this author is pretty popular. These two are by Jennifer L. Armentrout. We got From Blood and Ash and A Shadow in the Ember. These for sure I know are adult fantasy. They're very heavy books. I don't know what she puts in these pages. Are they made of gold? Not entirely sure, but I'm excited about them. I've heard this one is about vampires. I don't exactly know if this has vampires in them, but I know they're both fantasy, so that's really exciting. Favorite genre, as you all probably know. I honestly kind of want to weigh these because I feel like if I took 3 or 4 of them, I could actually use them as weights. Insane. I recently had a friend tell me that I need to start reading Brandon Sanderson. So I found Mistborn, and this is a great copy. Wow, I absolutely adore the cover, and if I enjoy this one, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to get the matching set, the second and the third one. I'm very excited about this one. This is a fantasy as well. I'm so sorry that I can't really give a synopsis for you, and that has been for most of these books just because I haven't read them and I don't like learning too much about books before I read them. I just get a general gist of what the book is about because I have to know whether or not I think I'm going to enjoy it in order for me to buy it, obviously. But I love going into books blind. It's one of my favorite things. So all I know is that this is very highly talked about. A lot of people really love Brandon Sanderson. So if you're one of those people, please comment down below. Let me know what's up. Next up, we have a boxed collection. One of my friends loves this series, and I can't believe I actually found the box set at Goodwill. $6, $3. That is crazy. This is the Mark of the Lion series. This is a fantasy series that has been heavily inspired by the books of the Bible. I'm not exactly sure which stories it's influenced by, but I've heard really great things about it. And hey, you really can't beat the deal I got for this series. I also got another edition of The Hobbit. This one's so old, and it has the little dwarves in the barrels, and I am obsessed with it. And I know I already have The Hobbit, but I'm obsessed with the yellow pages. I love really old books so much. And speaking of really old books, I have to show you this one that I got for $1, and I think some of you might actually scream if you are a mega fan. If you've seen my video about this book, you would actually know that I am indeed the opposite of a fan. I am a bit of a hater, but I have grown more open to rereading this book as the years go on, and I have realized that I just didn't really understand this book fully. So, Dune by Frank Herbert. This, my friends, is the first edition paperback. It is almost as old as my grandfather. It is falling apart. Let's see when this was published. 1965. In fact, there are a few pages that are actually, like, they have fallen out and I have to keep putting them back. However, Like I said earlier, I love old books, and this is freaking amazing. First edition paperback. There are some people on eBay selling, well, pristine editions of this for around $500. So, for $1, I think that's pretty good. Last fantasy book before I get into the classics. This is definitely a classic as well, but this is one of my favorite series of all time. The Chronicles of Narnia, except this is a all-in-one edition. I have been looking for an edition like this for so long, and this was only $5. All right, now time for the classics. My classic readers, this is for you. I got quite a lot of Shakespeare here, a few Barnes & Noble editions, so that's really fun. First up, we have the Portable Shakespeare. This has quite a few of his plays. Let me tell you which one it contains. We have Hamlet, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, A Midsummer Night's Dream, As You Like It, and The Tempest. And we have selections from other plays as well as songs from the plays, a few sonnets. Got kind of a lot in this one book, so I thought that was kind of cool. I eventually want to read Shakespeare. I only read Romeo and Juliet, and that was just because I had to in high school. So I want to really dive deep into him. So that being said, I also got a few No Fear Shakespeare books. We have The Taming of the Shrew and King Lear. Next up, we have Heart of Darkness and Selected Short Fiction by Joseph Conrad. I don't know a whole lot about this book. I was not forced to read this in high school, so I'm left in the dark. But I do know, I think that there is some romance in it. My brother read it and he said it wasn't bad. So that is saying a lot considering he doesn't read a whole ton. That wasn't a jab at him, by the way. He is incredibly smart, one of the smartest people I know. He just does not enjoy reading books, and that is okay. Next three are Barnes & Noble Classic Editions. We have Beowulf. Then we have the collected Oscar Wilde, which I am so excited about. I have been wanting to read Oscar Wilde. And then we have The Time Machine and The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. I'm very excited about both of these. I have read The Invisible Man once in my life. I do not remember very much about it, but also the person that had it before I did annotated it, and I love annotating. I love used books. This is why I thrift a lot. I love being able to see how someone else interpreted the story and what they took away from it. I think it adds so much to my reading experience. And then last but not least, I have The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. I used to own this, but then I unhauled it quite a while ago, and I really like the Penguin editions. I have started to collect them more and more, and so I thought this was pretty good for $2. All right, friends, and that is it with this book haul. That was all 30 books that I have obtained over this past week. A little scary, I know, but I hope you enjoyed. If you have read any of these books, please comment down below what your thoughts were about them, what you think I should read next out of these. I would love to hear your opinions. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe, make good choices. Love you so much, and I will definitely be seeing you next time. Bye! Now time to put all of these away. That is gonna be really fun. Oh, I'm not stacking things on Dune. Not making that mistake again. Nuh-uh.